Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Community Action Month Toolkit Release webinar. I'm Johnny, the Partnerships Associate for Communications and Branding, and behind the scenes we have Alex, NCAP Program Associate for Membership and Administration. If you have questions, please type them into the chat box and I'll do my best to answer them at the end of the presentation. Next slide. So, why Community Action Month? Well, it's a time to celebrate our success, share our success stories, thank our staff and volunteers, and have some fun. Beyond that, it's a chance for us to come together and speak as one unified voice to help raise awareness of community action. To those ends, I'm going to go over some of the resources we have available in our Community Action Month Toolkit to help you along the way. Next slide. The toolkit includes social media resources, activities and events, sample templates such as our press release template, proclamation template, and sample fundraising letter, and a whole lot more. The toolkit and all of its related resources are available on our landing page, which I've hyperlinked in the slide. Next slide. One of the most important resources in the toolkit is our Community Action Month calendar. This calendar serves as a guide for daily themes and events to participate in throughout the month of May. It also lets you know what sample graphics and social media messages we've provided, as well as what days they should be posted. I've highlighted a few of our activities and events here on the slide, such as reciting the promise of community action on May 2nd, Color the Huggy Heart Day on May 5th, and Sunday Success on May 29th, when we encourage you to share your favorite customer success stories on social media using the hashtag #SundaySuccess. Next slide. What's new this year? Well, I've got some of the new pieces listed here in the slide. We have our Community Action Jingle Sing-Along contest, a whole collection of new sample graphics, a new customizable impact report template, Fact Friday graphics and messaging, and more. So now I'm going to go ahead and dive right in and provide an overview of each of these items. Next slide. First, we have our Community Action Jingle Sing-Along contest. This is a chance for you and your staff to have a little fun during Community Action Month. We want you to take a video of your staff singing and or dancing along to the Community Action Jingle, which I've hyperlinked in the slide. All submissions will be entered to win prizes and have their videos played during our annual convention in New York City. You can send your submissions to judaily@communityactionpartnership.com, and I've hyperlinked my email in the slide. Next slide. Next, I want to show you some of our new graphics. What's shown here on the slide is only a small sample of the graphics we've provided. But as you can see, we have the promise of community action, Happy Birthday Head Start. We have a new Dr. King graphic for Motivation Monday, and a new Sergeant Shriver graphic for Throwback Thursday, as well as many others. You can find these graphics on page 20 of the toolkit. Next slide. Next, I want to talk about Fact Friday. This year, Fact Friday is focused on vaccination. For the first time, we're providing sample graphics to go along with brand new social media messaging. I'll also remind you of our collection of vaccination logo graphics, which feature the Huggy Heart logo with a Band-Aid, and they read, "Community Action Gets Vaccinated." I've hyperlinked these graphics in the slide as well. We also have some great vaccination videos you can share, which I've hyperlinked in the slide. We have community action leaders explaining their reasons for getting vaccinated, community action young professionals explaining their reasons for getting vaccinated, and our animated short video that features the Vaccination Huggy Heart logo. All of these are great resources you can share on Fact Friday and beyond. Next slide. As I mentioned at the top, we also have a new customizable Impact Wednesday graphic. Impact Wednesday takes place on May 4th and 25th this year. You can use this day to highlight the impact your agency is making in your community. The graphic is easy to customize in PowerPoint and includes instructions. I've also provided a blank copy of the graphic in case you prefer to customize in Canva or Photoshop. If you need assistance, please reach out to me via email, which I've hyperlinked in the slide. Next slide. We also have ready to post Impact Wednesday graphics. These graphics are all designed to help promote some of the many ways that community action agencies have responded to the pandemic. They cover addressing food insecurity, preventing utility shutoffs, keeping families housed, and providing childcare. These graphics have sample social media messages they can be paired with. These messages can be found in our sample social media posts section, which starts on page 12 of the toolkit. Next slide. In addition to the Impact Wednesday graphics, I want to show you some of additional tools that we've developed to promote COVID response stories. We first released these last spring and have been steadily adding more and more of these throughout the past year. Topics covered include food distribution, small business, vaccination, water and utilities, rental assistance, childcare, equity, homelessness, and job training. You can find these tools on page 28 of the toolkit. We have both customizable and ready-to-post designs for social media, as well as email and one-page templates that are customizable. I've also linked a webinar that provides step-by-step guidance on how to customize these templates. Next slide. Next, I want to bring your attention to our Motivation Monday collection. We have two Motivation Mondays on the calendar, May 9th and May 23rd. For May 9th, we've designed a graphic featuring a quote from Dr. King, but for May 23rd, we've provided an entire collection of inspirational quote graphics you can choose from. These include graphics from the National Community Action Equity Summit, graphics from our Whole Family Approach Institute, some featuring quotes from community action customers, other feature quotes from Whole Family Approach practitioners. The collection also includes a variety of other graphics we've designed over the years, some from previous community action months and so forth. Choose one or more of these graphics to post on May 23rd. Next slide. We also have a new social media creator. On May 16th, we ask that you post your agency's mission on social media. On May 31st, you can post a thank you message on social media thanking those who have participated in Community Action Month. Both of these templates are customizable in PowerPoint, and I've hyperlinked instructions to assist you. If you need additional assistance, please feel free to email me, which I've hyperlinked in the slide. Next slide. Next, we have our equity section. This section starts on page 30 of the toolkit. We've added some new content this year, such as our glossary of equity terms. These are terms and definitions that inform our current assumptions and approaches to achieving equity, belonging, and resilience. We've also included new graphics, such as for Black History Month and Hispanic Heritage Month. Please note that some of these graphics are not intended for May. For instance, we have graphics for Pride Month in June or Black History Month in February. There are also several cultural heritage months taking place in May. These include Asian Pacific Heritage Month, Haitian Heritage Month, Jewish American Heritage Month, and South Asian Heritage Month. These Heritage Month graphics can be shared any day during the month of May. Next slide. So here I'm just showing you some of the graphics that I just mentioned. As you can see the Black History Month graphics, Hispanic Heritage Month, Stop Asian Hate, Black Lives Matter, so on and so forth. Next slide. Next, I want to discuss our branding section. This section is still relatively new. We just started including it last year. This section can be found on page 41. It includes ideas on how you might use the national brand logo and or Huggy Heart designs. For instance, you could include the partnership logo on the footer of your website, or you could post our proud member of the Community Action Network graphic to your agency's social media accounts. We also have sample language, which you could include on your website, publications, and social media accounts. There are taglines such as helping people changing lives and America's poverty fighting network. We've also listed common hashtags that CAAs are using, such as Community Action Responds, Be Community Action, and We Are 1,000 Strong. And we've included some additional sources such as our mission, vision, and value statements, sample messaging, our style guide, as well as a Dropbox folder with logos, Huggy Hearts, fonts, and other design elements. Next slide. Next, we have our board engagement guide. This one-pager provides ideas and tools to help CAA board members get engaged and participate in Community Action Month activities and events. This can be found on page 6 of the toolkit. One thing we cover here is promoting community action on social media. As you can see, we've designed a little graphic that board members can share, which reads, proud board member of my community action agency. This graphic is linked both in the slides and in the one-pager. We have ideas for advocating for community action, which includes sharing local success stories, inviting an elected official to visit your agency, or writing an op-ed for your newspaper. And we've also linked a webinar we hosted on advocacy for CAA boards, which is a great resource that includes additional ideas and covers necessary skills for engaging in advocacy. Next slide. Next, we have our community action values graphics. These can be found on page 29. These graphics promote a series of value statements we developed a couple years ago. For instance, the first one reads, we believe all people should be treated with dignity and respect and recognize that structural race, gender, and other inequities remain barriers that must be addressed. These graphics can be shared any day in May or beyond. Next slide. Now I just want to discuss a couple staple pieces we have available in the toolkit. Thursday, May 5th is Huggy Heart Day. On this day, many agencies will have their Head Start kids participate in a fun activity called Color the Huggy Heart using our coloring sheet. We encourage you to post these on social media using the hashtag CommunityActionWorks and hashtag WeAre1000Strong. On Friday, May 27th, we encourage you to take a selfie holding our I Love Community Action selfie sign and post it to social media using the hashtag FunFriday. Both these resources are hyperlinked in the slide. Next slide. Many agencies will have their city proclaim May as Community Action Month. With that in mind, we have a sample proclamation template that you can use. We also have a sample fundraising letter as well as a sample press release template. So if you have a great event or a new program you want to raise awareness of, you can use our sample press release template to help you. If you need additional guidance, we have tips for talking to the press on page 43, as well as fundraising tips on page 54. Next slide. Last, I want to call your attention to our annual convention awards and scholarships. Do you know any outstanding volunteers, employees, or other individuals who have advanced the work of community action? We invite you to nominate them for our 2022 Annual Convention Awards and Scholarships. You can learn more on page 59 of the toolkit, or nominate someone by clicking the links provided in the slide, which I will share momentarily. Next slide. Speaking of the annual convention, please save the date for the 2022 Annual Convention taking place August 31st to September 2nd in New York City. Next slide. And with that, I will open it up to questions. So I see we have a question. Do you have one for Juneteenth, since it's now a holiday? In fact, we do. It's in the equity section. It's also can be found on our landing page. Looks like we have another question asking about the slides. Let me go ahead and put those into the chat box. So I've posted the slides into the chat box, and we're also going to be following up with everyone with a follow-up email that'll have the toolkit, a link to the landing page, and a link to the slides. So any other questions? Looks like we have at least one person that has no sound, and they're asking if there'll be a recorded version. Yeah, when we follow up with everyone, there'll be a recorded version of the webinar as well. Looks like someone's asking if we have Say, I used the commercial before. Will you do that again? We still have the commercial available, although we don't have any new commercials out as of now. Here's another question. Huggy Heart Day was on May 17th in the past. Is there a reason it was moved so we can note that? Thanks. Pretty much every year we just move it around. There's not a specific day that we normally do Huggy Heart Day. Just, whichever day works for the schedule. Can we brand graphic with our own organization logos? Absolutely. You can use our brand materials however you want. Some people use the colors. Some people, use the Huggy. Some people just use the phrase community action. Or some people have their own logos, but include some of our taglines. Any of the materials in our style guide, which I'll link here in the chat box momentarily, you can use them however best suits your agency. Is there a virtual backdrop we can use for community action online programs? There isn't, but I can design a virtual backdrop and follow up in the with the follow-up email that'll include all of the materials from today's presentation as well as the toolkit. I can follow up with a virtual backdrop as well. Are there hashtags that we will be using? Community Action Month works. Hashtag we are 1000 strong. For any posts that are related to pandemic response, we've been using Community Action Responds. Is there a social media banner? No, not at this time, but I can look into designing one of those as well. Any more questions? Is it possible to get a version of the values graphics that do not have community action on it for other months? Yeah, absolutely. I can follow up with those graphics as well. If you want to email me, then I can follow up separately with you if you're interested in getting a version of the values graphics that do not have community action on it. Is there a graphic for Facebook cover photo? There are a couple in the on Facebook. If you just search through the Facebook cover photos, there are ones that we've done in the past that you can find. It's also possible that we might design new ones, but we don't have any at this time. I'd love to get those value graphics for other months as well. Thanks for this. I think those values graphics you can really post anytime. So, feel free to do so. Any other questions? Do we have to get graphics approved that have the Huggy Heart logo? No. Feel free to use the Huggy Heart logo as you see fit. No need to come to us for approval. Where do I download the toolkit? Let me link the landing page into the chat box for everyone. So this landing page includes the toolkit, as well as all the associated resources, graphics, templates, etc. And then here is a direct link to the toolkit. Where can we find your email? Here, I'll put it into the chat box. It is also linked in the slides, which I will be sending to everyone after the presentation in a follow-up email. Any other questions? Can we use your graphics as a reference when creating content that matches our agency's aesthetic? Absolutely. Use our graphics however you see fit, however it fits your agency. Are these materials available in other languages like Spanish? We have some resources available in Spanish, but as of yet, we don't have these specific resources, the Community Action Month resources available in Spanish. However, I can definitely talk to our leadership team and let them know that that has been requested. Seeing lots of nice comments. This is great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Is it possible to get a Facebook profile picture frame and a CA month added as a Facebook event for us to tag in your post? So there are Facebook frames already on Facebook. It's possible we may make more, but there's at least one or two that should still be on Facebook if you search on the Facebook profile frames. Are we allowed to translate on our own? Absolutely. Any other questions? Well, then, thanks everyone. Really appreciate everyone showing up, and you will be hearing from me in a day or two.